So here's our check for understanding dealing with this. And this is actually a rather difficult question, but go ahead, grapple with it for a second, then start the video up again whenever you think you have an answer. Okay. So the graph shows values of delta G for a reaction at different temperatures. Which statement is correct? Okay, well, when I look at the graph, I see that delta G becomes more negative as temperature increases. And I know that delta G, Gibbs free energy, tells us about the spontaneity, and we want it to be negative, so that this reaction gets more spontaneous as temperature increases. Okay? And when I look at my answer choices, C is the exact opposite of that, so I can scratch that out. Now, A, B, and D deal with entropy, S, and enthalpy, H. So that brings to mind this equation, delta G equals delta H minus T delta S. And you're going, well, how in the world would I know this from here? Well, remember that we want delta G to be negative. And so if we want this to be negative, that delta H needs to be smaller than that T delta S term. Okay, so whatever we subtract is larger than the initial part. So if the standard entropy change of the reaction is negative, that would be really difficult for the T delta S term to be then larger than delta H. We'd have to have a very large negative delta H. Okay, so maybe. Okay, the standard enthalpy change of the reaction is positive. Well, if that's positive and then our entropy change is positive, as temperature increases, then this gets larger than delta H. Also, when I look at my graph, I see that at lower temperatures, this is non-spontaneous. So there's some evidence that B could be correct. All right, let's look at D. The standard enthalpy change of the reaction is negative. Well, if we had delta H minus T delta S, if delta S were positive, then this would be negative at all temperatures, and it's not. And if delta S were negative, so we have negative minus a negative, then we would see the reaction become less spontaneous with higher temperatures. So it would have a positive slope and go this way. So D is not going to be correct. And in fact, B is the correct choice here. So that's kind of an odd question, but it is a released IB question. And so now you've seen one of the ways that they could ask that.